Our thanks to Richard Engel right there. Let's bring in right now the National Security Institute founder and executive director, Jamil Jaffer. Jamil, thank you for this. I know Richard laid it out there, but a lot of people hear hypersonic and they really don't know what this means. What does it do? And should we be worried about the advancement that China is making over ours?
Yeah, Candace, I think, look, the key thing about hypersonics are they're a lot faster than traditional nuclear weapons delivery, whether ICBMs, bombers, submarines, or the like. And they're also more agile, so they can come in and evade defenses. They can move around quickly. They're sort of gliding in once they come in from outer space into the atmosphere. And so they're able to be very precise and evade these missile defenses. So that's the key concern, and we should be very concerned. This is a new development. China's been doing hypersonics for a while. Back in 2018, U.S. defense officials testified that they were testing 20 times more hypersonic weapons than we were. They're also growing their nuclear force. You know, they have the third largest nuclear force in the world, a lot less than the U.S. and Russia combined. But if you think about it, they've got this capability. Now they've got a way of delivering it in a way that's very dangerous. And that's the real concern for the United States. Yeah,
a lot of people say the most concern right now is about this new weapon system, is that it could be capable of evading our missile defense systems. Is the U.S. preparing in any way for this?
Well, you know, I think one of the challenges, Candace, in this space is that we don't have a ton of missile defense as it stands today, right? Our missile defense capabilities are fairly limited, fairly focused in a couple of areas. And so, you know, we need to accelerate that effort. But the real thing with China is it's less about trying to shoot down their missiles if they decided to come after us. It's more about how do we deter their behavior? How do we prevent them from building these capabilities, knowing that if they use them, that we're going to respond aggressively? And that's one of the challenges of the space. You know, the Biden administration's interim national security guidance talked about reducing the role of U.S. nuclear weapons in our defense policy. We've seen what the Chinese have been doing with respect to Taiwan, right? Their long-term efforts in South China Sea. So there are concerning signs of the way that China's behaving in the globe. They're building these advanced defense capabilities. We've got to push back and say, look, if you behave this way, we're going to respond. And that way, even if they build these weapons, they're not likely to use them.
Yeah, so the Pentagon said that our latest hypersonic weapons test failed, and this comes after another failed test in April. Why is it that the U.S. doesn't have this technology down pat yet? We're sending people up into space on rockets practically every week now.
You know, it's about commitment and time and effort and money. And, you know, we've spent a lot of time thinking about a variety of other sort of threats to the United States. Terrorism has been a key threat to the United States. We spent a lot of time working that effort. We've got to redouble our efforts on our strategic defensive capabilities. That means nuclear weapons. Now, President Obama and President Bush before him and President Trump all supported this idea of nuclear modernization, right? We need to make sure the Biden administration continues that policy going forward, that we modernize our nuclear fleet of weapons of all three parts of the triad, the bombers, the ICBMs, and the submarine-based missiles. And then we've got to make sure we continue to develop our own strategic capabilities. We haven't dedicated enough time and effort to hypersonics the same way we haven't dedicated enough resources to getting ahead of China in quantum and semiconductors and the like. And these are strategic issues. So as we think about trillions of dollars in new spending by the U.S., we should think about how to make sure that that spending in part is focused on the threat that China poses in the long term to the United States national security.
When we look back at this era years from now, will we think that this was the beginning stages of a new Cold War? Yes, it's a little different because we still have trade with China and they're one of our biggest trading partners. But still, is this the start of a Cold War?
Well, you know, Candace, I worry that we're already in the heart of a burgeoning conflict with China. Whether it's cold or hot, China's getting more and more aggressive. They're building military islands in the South China Sea. They're flying, military jets and making threatening remarks towards Taiwan, right? Our allies in the region are increasingly concerned. It looks like we may not be there for our allies. There's a concern about that. And so we've really got to step up. And there's an opportunity here for the Biden administration to make clear, look, we will defend Taiwan. We will. They did a great thing with Australia by selling those nuclear-capable subs to Australia. That's the right move. We need to do more with the Quad, Japan, Australia, India, great allies in the region. We need to buttress that effort. So, Candace, I think there's opportunities here. But if the question is this a potential long-term conflict with China? Absolutely. They're moving fast. Yeah. We got to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, it does feel as if they're forcing the Americans' hand. At some point, something will give, and it'll be a situation that we don't want to be a part of. All right. Thank you so much, Jamil.
Thanks, Candace.